We're here for the first game. Generation 6. We got Punny and the Simps versus the Dirt Man. Game 1, match 1. Let's go. Alright. We kicked off the first game. Punny and the Simps leading off with Empoleon, a Steel Water versus Dirt Man, the Mamoswine. Great lead on that side. That Pokemon can have Stealth Rock, but as can Joe Biden here, the Empoleon. So we might see some setups here from both sides just to get a little bit of hazards going. But it looks like Mamoswine is just going to kick it off with an Earthquake. And Joe Biden, on the other hand, with its leftovers, decides to kick a Yawn off, which, if Dirtman's on top of that, he'll know he's going to have to swap out or that Mamoswine's going to go to sleep. So here comes Zapdos, which is a nice counter, but he goes ahead and knocks off, which means Mamoswine is going to fall asleep here. So behind in that respect, Dirtman hopefully has a Heal Beller on his team. Maybe the Mew, maybe the Celebi, heck, even maybe the Gardevoir here. So there comes the Mew, Ancient Power going into the Mew, which is definitely not going to do much to Mew. But here's a Defog for some reason. We didn't see any rocks, so not sure on that one. But the Volt Switch will allow Punny and the Simps to get a swap here. And this is where we're going to see him maybe get to something. Yeah, I was thinking something that could threaten him with a full physical attack, maybe a Flare Blitz here. Onto the Mew. The Intimidate, we don't know if it's going to matter yet because this Mew could be special, this Mew could be physical. So we're going to find out here if this Mew's attack down there from the Intimidate is going to matter. However, Dirtman decides to go ahead and pull out the Mew and go to the Gengar, who gets hit hard by a Crunch. Kind of a rough swap in either way. Maybe if he was expecting a normal move, like an Extreme Speed, that makes sense. But the Gengar is going to just die here, which is going to be tough for Dirtman. That is a key sweeper there. He got a poison on the Arcanine, but again, I don't know how that will play out. I see the Clefable there from Punny and the Simps, which is a common aromatherapy user. So that poison probably won't be a big deal if Punny decides to pull out the Arcanine here. The Mamoswine, though, does have a priority move, but it is still asleep from the Yawn. I wonder if Dirtman knew that because it is an ice Pokemon, so sending it out against the fire Pokemon might not be what you want here. But Punny decides to go ahead and swap over to the Clefable, taking the chance because Mamoswine is asleep. And maybe he wants to start setting up here with a Calm Mind or, just go for the throat here with some Stab Moonblasts. Yeah, and he just decides to go ahead and get that poison off his Arcanine with a Heal Bell there. Um, so Clefable with the option of Aromatherapy and Heal Bell, deciding to put Heal Bell on it. And now that poison's gone from Arcanine, meaning he can maybe get just a free... Wow, and he's still asleep. And Intimidate is important for Mamoswine. That is... it is a physical attacker. It woke up there, so let's see what it's going to use. Then it flinched off the attack there on the Crunch. So big move there, or on the Iron Head. And there's the Iron Head critting, taking down the Mamoswine. And this is a tough start for Dirtman, but maybe he can revenge kill on the Arcanine here. He sends out the Celebi, and he doesn't need to do a Heal Bell anymore. So here's Obama Snow. And it looks like Dirtman is bringing back Dominican Luigi here. We see a Sucker Punch, and that is the physical Celebi. So the Sucker Punch, though, Punny might have seen that coming, decides to swap over to the Obama Snow. And a U-turn, which is very good against Obama Snow, will allow Celebi to get out of here and maybe swap over to the Dragon. But no, he goes with the Mew. The Avalanche hits pretty strong there on a crit. But the Mew is pretty well positioned here to fight it. Yeah, and here comes Clefable, the special wall. Will-O-Wisp is not going to do anything to Clefable here, as it has Magic Guard, so it won't take the damage from non-combat moves. And that burn is going to cover it from any sort of other shenanigans, its status, so that's pretty good there. Gets the paralysis onto that beautiful shiny Kyurem, and this is one of Dirtman's primary sweepers here. So sending out a dragon into a fairy is a pretty tall order there. So we're going to see what he does, and I think Punny was thinking he was going to swap, and an Ironhead hits that Clefable really hard there. But I think this time Punny is probably going to try to send a Moonblast into this Kyurem, but no, pulls into the Arcanine to maybe get a reset, and an Ice Beam doing good damage, but not or mediocre damage into the Fire Pokemon. Um, and that's one of the benefits of Kyurem Black is just the stats on both attack and special. And the Ironhead finishing off the Arcanine, and he's going to have to send out a fast Pokemon. Yeah, here comes Lopunny to try and just take this thing out right here, because this is a dangerous Pokemon on Dirtman's side. Very, very dangerous. It's already paralyzed, so it's very slow. Yeah, so swapping to the Mew, and here's the Mega Evolution. A fake out into the Mew, not much. Definitely a physical Mew, physically defensive Mew here. And the fighting Pokemon in Lopunny is gonna oh, and there's the Fury Cutter. That's the coverage move that he was trying to use for the Psychic Pokemon, and it just misses, and he lands the burn, which is huge, especially with the Clefable at low health. This Lopunny has now been burned. A Psychic move into this Lopunny could do huge damage, and that would be a big momentum turner. Oh, and he has the Facade for the status effect. Big damage out of it, able to take down the Mew. So it has that move just in case it gets burned. And Dominican Luigi is going to have to come in here and try to do something, but Sucker Punch is not good against Lopunny. So we'll see what he does. And yeah, there's the Facade, big damage. Zen Headbutt just taking down the Lopunny right there. And this is kind of Dirtman's chance. He's got his Mega Evolution sitting there, that Gardevoir, and he's got to be careful not to send it out on a swap to get chunked. I think you want to save that for a reset. And if this Dominican Luigi can kill it, oh my god, it's close, but it doesn't take it down. And the Shadow Ball also doesn't kill it. Wow. Some good natural bulk from both of these Pokemon, and the Giga Drain takes it down. We are now 3v3. Now remember, Celebi could have healing moves, but Kyurem Black is paralyzed and low health. So I would say from a health advantage, Punnyandthesimps has an advantage there, but Dirtman has a lot of power just waiting for him in that Gardevoir. The Sucker Punch not doing much. There's Heat Wave taking out the grass Pokemon in Celebi, and this is your chance to send out Gardevoir Mega Evolve. Yeah, here comes Gardevoir, and traces the pressure, which doesn't really matter here, but Gardevoir will go ahead and he has to Mega Evolve here. And this is going to be very close. And yeah, pulling back to the Obama Snow. We're going to see what he chooses to do. There's a Hyper Voice, but he's running the Soundproof, which is immune there. We're going to see if Dirtman has some more coverage moves here to fight this Obama Snow, but Soundproof prevents it from taking damage from particular moves. Oh, and misses with the Focus Blast. Very risky move. And Iron Tail just kills the Gardevoir. Very tough. Rough luck. The perfect swap. And maybe that's why he wanted Obama Snow for this matchup, is just for that one Gardevoir swap in. Oh, and the Iron Tail missing here, but a fully paralyzed proc coming on the Kyurem. He does have life or leftovers, so he's healing a bit. And there's the Iron Head to take him down, but Kyurem will get Alpha Striked here because it is paralyzed. It will not be fast enough to outspeed the Zapdos. So if he sends out the Zapdos here and, goes with the Empoleon. Now, Empoleon not a super powerful Pokemon, but has Steel moves, Steel Stab, and see, Knockoff kicking the leftovers away. Oh, and a fully paralyzed proc again is just so rough. And Kyurem's going to go down here even though it resists the water. And we are going to game 2 with Punny and the Simps. Close match though after Dirtman took some Pokemon or lost some Pokemon very early. So very interesting start so far, and this is going to be a great game 2 here. So all right, got the challenge out and can see them. I'm going to go ahead and swap the view. Perfect. All right. Now this time I think, of course, Dirtman now knows about the Obama Snow. Yeah, the jig is up there, so he's gonna know that if Obama Snow is alive, that he has the ability to swap into that Hyper Voice. So Hyper Voice is kind of off the menu for now, I think, and it kind of sucks. But Gardevoir still has very high special attack, so that's okay. So here's the Mew coming out against the Zapdos, and Zapdos is the Defogger, and Dirtman could be using Mew has such a wide diverse move pool. Could have the Stealth Rock, but goes for the Will-O-Wisp on the special Pokemon, which isn't necessarily the best status effect on Zapdos. However, because it's electric, you can't Thunder Wave it through conventional means, or paralyze it through conventional means. So going to the Arcanine here, he did this last time, and Arcanine just has really powerful wall breaking moves like Flare Blitz. It also has Crunch, which we saw, which is good against the Psychic Pokemon. And he's also fast, so it has the potential to flinch here. So there's the Psychic, Stab Psychic, but remember, this Mew is definitely defensive. Doesn't have the full stat investment, so not a whole lot into this Arcanine. That Arcanine could also be Assault Vested there just for that matchup. So here comes Gardevoir, and this time we're not going to see Hyper Voice. It's not going to be great into the Fire Pokemon anyways. So I think that Dirtman is going to choose one of his coverage moves here, and or decide to try to set up maybe with a Calm Mind. We'll see what he does. So here's Mega Gardevoir and chooses Psyshock, which is exactly what he needed to choose. If he does have any other options, though, the Hyper Voice, there's the Stab, and he lands the Paralysis on the Gardevoir. So he may go for a swap here, and he just goes for the Soft Boiled, which is going to... and there's the Paralyzed proc. He's had a lot of great luck with the Paralyze, has Punny and the Simps. So swapping over to Obama Snow, and maybe not predicting the swap, but at least pressing the right button there in Psyshock, and the Iron Tail, the Steel the Steel Attack. Ooh, no. The Thunderbolt there is not going to be great into Obama Snow, and Iron Tail going to finish off the Gardevoir here. Not a great start on game 2 for Dirtman, sending out the big boy in Kyurem Black, and this Pokemon is who he needs to lean on. And previously in the last round it got paralyzed, and Ice Shard is not going to be super great because remember Kyurem is ice. But I think Punny just wanted the reset there to go ahead and try to outspeed this thing, maybe with low Punny, maybe with Arcanine, or I guess even Clefable. But we saw in the previous game that Ironhead is sitting there ready to go. And that did a lot of damage to Clefable last round. This Clefable is not at full health, so it can't take an Iron Head like it did in the previous game. So I think Punny is in the tank here. He really needs to send out either... Oh, and he goes with Empoleon. Empoleon has that Steel Stab, so... or maybe he's trying to go ahead and rotate him out. And there's Mamoswine. Going for the Yawn to try and force him out on the previous turn, but we saw Dirtman was willing to just leave it out, and he leaves it out again, and it falls asleep. I mean, Yawn is so telegraphed, but it does the trick in certain cases, and here Dirtman just willing to let his Pokemon sleep. Typically, you want to swap them out when you get Yawned, but, So Ancient Power going out there, going for maybe the RNG luck on all the stat boosts, but that Rock move isn't going to do great damage into Mamoswine. And there's the swap to Arcanine. Again, the Intimidate is really good against Mamoswine. Icicle Spear will do very little to him. And Mamoswine, wow, hitting 4 and 5 times there. Very big. That's lucky. And... the ice moves into the fire is not really what you're looking for. And Ironhead hitting super effective into that Pokemon. Earthquake, though, taking down the Arcanine. We don't see the swap from Punny to the Zapdos. And Lopunny coming out here to go ahead and try to Alpha Strike this thing down. And if you're Dirtman, I think you got to let Mamoswine just die. And if Punny tries anything funny with like Swords Dance or something along those lines, Mamoswine can at least land an Earthquake on this thing. So I would definitely just press Earthquake. Oh, and he decides to swap to the Celebi, and Celebi's probably going to get cracked here. There's a Fake Out, and took the Fake Out pretty well, but Lopunny is Kamala's not going to be. I guess maybe Dominican Luigi is set up, and yeah, we saw the bug move in Fury Cutter in the previous round, but Send Headbutt so strong against Kamala here. It did a lot of damage last time. Sucker Punch dealing enough. Dominican Luigi out-dueling Lopunny. Huge there. And going to Clefable here. Clefable has been his mainstay, but and he swaps to the Gengar. Really tough. Really, really tough. You really got swapping Gengar into things, especially a fairy, is just a really tall order. The Sludge Bomb, though, hitting super effective, but the Shadow Ball will take it out. If you go to the Mamoswine here and try for the Ice move, he's just going to swap to the Empoleon. So I think that you gotta. I think you still go for the Ice move here. Because you have, and he goes for the knockoff, and I thought Punny might swap, but no, he decides to get the clean reset. Probably to the Empoleon here. Again, that Iron Head is going to be good against the or Iron Tail will be good against the Mamoswine, and probably will do the rest of the HP, but I see that Kyurem Black sitting there. That Pokemon is a house, and and the Mamoswine outspeeding. It was paralyzed most of the time before. And Joe Biden here dropping the yawn. Kind of a conservative play there from Punny. Decides to try to get the value on it. Oh, and he predicts it with the Rock Slide. Perfect prediction from Dirtman. It will fall asleep, but it's immune to the electric moves from Zapdos. And, sure, the Zapdos is going to get to roost here, but you are sitting here in a okay matchup, and your leftovers is proccing. So, yeah, there's the swap back, and there's the wake up. Here's the Icicle Spear, but it's faster again. So, it's tough. Like, you might have to just go ahead and press Earthquake here and just suck it up if he swaps to the Zapdos. But I don't think you want to swap to Kyurem Black. You want Kyurem Black to come in on a fresh board. Yeah, so here's the swap to Zapdos, and there's a knockoff. Huge crit, knocks off the leftovers. That is also very big, and this is going to be close here. The Roost taking it back up, and one thing that Dirtman should be able to see here is that it's landing, so an Earthquake would be super effective if it decides to try to land here with a Roost. That is one of the common things that you can do if you're slower than the Zapdos and it's roosting. So there's the Rock Slide, and it just takes the rest of the HP of the Zapdos. It's going to send out the Empoleon, and that will send us to Game 3 on the Earthquake from the Mamoswine. Just a huge swing here for Dirtman. Incredible. We are going to Game 3. Great showing from Dirtman. Wow. So Dirtman's coming through and definitely showing how he learned from Game 1. And let's see how Punnyandthesimps decides to adjust here. And see if he can finish off Dirtman here in Game 3, or if Dirtman's going to get the upset here in Round 1. So Dirtman deciding to lead with the Gengar this time to try to get a little bit more real estate out of it, because, to be honest, it hasn't done much. But Empoleon kicking that off with a knockoff, and the item is no longer there for the Gengar. So Uh, yeah, and the Shadow Ball's not going to kill here. Defiant, uh, giving it the attack buff, and a Shadow Ball again could kill it now with the special defense drop. And he decides to press Thunderbolt, and that one works against the Empoleon. And this is a great start. Now we see the rocks there, but I think that that'll be okay, at least for now, for Dirtman. So Bernie has extreme speed, but that's not great. And another Thunderbolt here. I would have preferred a stab move, and the Crunch taking down the Gengar. I like leaving him out there. And this is where you got to take advantage right here. You got to go after this Arcanine. It's pretty dangerous in general. So this one is one where you got to be careful here, Dirtman. Don't throw it away. So he puts the Grass Pokemon out here. So already this is a tall order here for Celebi. Yeah, Sucker Punch is not going to do much. And here comes a Crunch. And I don't know. This Arcanine was not faster there, but the Crunch. I wonder if because Flare Blitz would have probably killed there, being the stab move. But here going to the Clefable, but a U-turn from Dirtman, perfect decision there, and he'll be able to swap to the Pokemon that he wants. And here comes Kyurem. It's ice, so it takes the 25%, but it has leftovers, and it's ready to press Iron Head on this Clefable. Boom, Iron Head. Will we see the flinch? No, he landed the Thunder Wave. Huge, huge. So this time, like game one, he lands the Thunder Wave, and now the Kyurem's going to be slower than almost everything. Pretty big takedown there. Finally seeing Kyurem's signature move in Fusion Bolt. But here comes Lopunny. You'll always get a free fake out here. And dealing 21% of Kyurem's HP. Not a whole lot there. The fake out play is free, and there's hitting that ice Pokemon with the high jump kick. Very powerful. That is a huge takedown for Punnyandthesimps, getting that Kyurem Black out of here. Dirtman didn't really need it in the previous game, but just having that Pokemon down is just a lot of leverage. But the burn, predicting that with the swap to the Arcanine, the fire Pokemon, and there's the dark move again. Let's see if it flinches. It doesn't. The defog gets rid of the Stealth Rock. And the Mew is at 34% HP. Again, just like what we saw in just crunching over and over. It will two-shot these Pokemon. So yeah, there's taking down the Mew. He's going to have a little bit of a comeback here. Maybe this is the reset to the Gardevoir, but no, chooses the Mamoswine. If he presses Earthquake here, I mean, he's going to get Zapdosed. So I hope that if Punny leaves in Arcanine, I doubt he will. At least in Game 1, he pulled it almost at this exact position. So Mamoswine... and he leaves it out, going for the flinch hacks and the rock move, taking down the Arcanine. Maybe a little bit of high risk, high reward there, play by Punny. But it takes it down, and I think you got to send your Lopunny. Yeah, here comes the Lopunny back out here. That stab high jump kick is so strong, and that is what he's got to do here probably to take down this Mamoswine. Now he will get the free fake out. So that's always free. Yeah, 21%. Saw it in the last one. Flinches, heals up on the leftovers. So from here, you have the high jump kick, hits the ice Pokemon just like the Kyurem, takes it down, and here we go, 2 versus 3. That Gardevoir is sitting there, and you got to imagine that it is coming, but the Celebi sent out here, and you really don't have much play against the Kamala here. The Sucker Punch will do very little into the fighting type. And, I don't know what else that just dies to the bug move. So here comes Gardevoir. This is the matchup. And that Fury Cutter will be good against Gardevoir. But Gardevoir is a big, big damage Pokemon. So Let's see if Dirtman can use the Mega and sweep with the Mega. Now remember, he's got Soundproof, Fury Cutter dealing, oh wow, just over half HP, and the Focus Blast hitting there just when he needs it. Here comes Obama Snow. He cannot press Hyper Voice anymore, so he's got to go with the Focus Blast again. There it is, it hits, it does over half, but this will kill here on the Iron Tail, and Punnyandthesimps takes down Dirtman in Game 1. An incredible start. Great showing by both players.